Hello, coin collectors out there. Welcome back to the Big D Coins channel. Hopefully everyone is having a great day as always. In today's video, we are going to be looking at these quarters that you see in front of you right here. We've got a Massachusetts, Maryland, Virginia, New Hampshire, South Carolina. Yes, these are the 2000 state quarters. Now let me pop open one of these containers to give you kind of a sneak peek at what we're going to look at. So we've got these quarters that are in near mint state condition. These are all in absolutely great shape. The issue with these state quarter series is that everyone collected these. So even in a mint state condition, in a mint state 63, these quarters are only going to be worth around $1 each. Now that doesn't leave a lot of money to kind of get your coin graded or to really transact and sell in it. So what you really want to look for the state quarters are errors. Now there are some well-known errors with the 1999 Delaware spinning horse. We've also got the 2004 Wisconsin error, but there are some known errors that are associated with the year 2000, so we're going to get into those in today's video. Let's first look at these ones right here. This is MA for Massachusetts. I will pop it open and just look how great of shape these quarters are. I'm not sure if these were bought directly from a mint or someone cherry picked out all the great condition ones, but these hardly have any wear and tear to them. A little bag marks here, a little scrapes, but you can clearly tell that these were not tossed around in circulation, which is very cool. It's nice to have these great quarters, but the reason why they haven't been graded is because the coin grading process does cost money, and unfortunately these are so common that it's not worth getting them graded. In the year 2000 at the Philadelphia Mint for Massachusetts, there were 628 million of these that were made, and at the Denver Mint there were 535. If you've got your quarter, look at the obverse side, and that's where you'll see the mint mark on it. So these, most of them I think I have here are Philadelphia, but you might have a D mint mark there for Denver or S for San Francisco. Now, because there were about 500,000 that were made at each mint for these particular years that we're looking at, even 943 million made for the Virginia at the later end of this process, these are only going to be worth between 35 cents for an AU50, $1 for a mint state 63, $4 for a mint state 65, and $3 for the PF 65. So if you've got a proof set 65, and around $9 for the proof set 65 silver quarter. Now there are some S mint mark quarters out there that are silver. Those will be worth more than face value. They made 965,000 of those just for collectors. But what you're tuning in to probably find out is the error quarters associated with these particular years. Now there are common error quarters that exist for these years. I'm going to move most of this pile away so we can just kind of look at a couple of them here. We'll get one obverse side and then one reverse side that we see right here. I will zoom in. So the first error that I want to talk about is the 2000p quarter struck over center. Quarter struck off center, not over center. If it's over center, then it's exactly where it should be. If it's off center, then it's not, and that's an error quarter. So we can see that this right here is situated kind of directly in the center of the coin, which is what you would expect to see on a coin like this. However, there are some that are shifted, maybe just a little right, just a little left, and that's what's known as the off center. And there's a South Carolina off center that's worth around $100, and there's a a couple of New Hampshire off centers, which are worth $150 to $195. So those have been verified off center coins. Now for 2000 Philadelphia Mint, there's also a double strike off center. So if you've got that off center, which we just described, as well as a double strike, so the die hits the coin twice, whether it is a full punch twice or if it's just kind of a hits it and then bounces back, that's what's known as a double strike. So if you've got a double strike and off center, that really kind of doubles the value of it, or more than doubles the value of it, excuse me. So a 20% off center is going to be worth around $700. So that means only 20%, the 20% off center double strike is going to be worth around $700 in mint state 64 to 66. So take a look through your good mint state quarters and see if you've got any double striking or if you've got any off center associated with them. Now the next one I'm going to talk about is a South Carolina one. So let me bring over a couple of these South Carolina quarters. And let's get into these ones right here. So there's a known 2000 Denver Mint. So flip your coin over to the obverse side and look to see if it's got that D Mint mark on it. And that's the 2000 Denver Mint South Carolina quarter struck 9 times on aluminum. So that is pretty crazy. So it's both has a 9 striking to it as well as it was struck on aluminum. This one's got an interesting kind of wear and tear just in the center of the coin. Now these coins should be 75% copper, 25% nickel, and have a weight of 5.67 grams to them. Now the core of the coin is the copper. The nickel goes around the outside of the coin. None of these are going to be silver unless you have those special S-Mint mark ones that were sold just as sets. Now there's also another pretty cool error out there, the 2000p South Carolina quarter multi-struck on feeder finger. So the feeder finger is the piece of metal that feeds the coin into the machine, and they actually struck by accident somehow. The die struck the feeder finger. And they've graded that, somehow graded a mint state 64, and that's worth $2,640. So that's not even a coin, but it's got that South Carolina striking to it, so that's pretty cool. Now with 2000 Philadelphia Mint South Carolina, so getting into the ones that I've got in front of you right here, there's a 2000 clad coin that's copper at its core and copper nickel on the outside. So that's kind of that's what we're looking at. It's a normal layering to it. However, there is some that have a 50% obverse clad layer split to them. And those quarters have sold for $381. So that clad layering, if you've got a layering on your coin that doesn't look like what you see in front of you right here, that will be worth more because that's a known kind of error. And, even if it wasn't a known, maybe you're the first one to find it in the series. All right, trying to get through as many of these quarters as I can. The next one I want to talk about is the 2000p Maryland quarter struck on 10-cent planchet. So sometimes the coins end up in the wrong area of the mint, and the quarter design will get struck on a 10-cent planchet. So that's the one that exists. So let me get you some description of that. So most contemporary dimes, quarters, and half dollars are all made from the same planchet to them. That's that kind of 25% nickel, 75% copper. This leads to multiple wrong planchet errors when a disc is blank. The double denomination errors when the coin is already struck. You can tell by weighing the coin. So as I mentioned, the weight to these should be 5.65 grams. So if you've got your quarter struck on a 10-cent planchet, meaning kind of the metal composition that was designed for the 10-cent coin, then that will be an error. So if it seems like it's a little bit off weight, it doesn't have this same weight to it that you would expect to see with the quarters, definitely check that out. All right, now on to New Hampshire, trying to get through. We've got New Hampshire and Virginia to get through. So I'll put these New Hampshire ones right here. Now it's kind of sad that this imagery right here no longer exists. The old man on the mountain in New Hampshire. It's kind of a rock formation that unfortunately has crumbled, so this no longer exists. But the 2000p New Hampshire quarter, there's a double struck and rotated. To ensure all U.S. coins remain upright when they flip them vertically, they're minted in a 180-degree head-to-tail configuration. But sometimes the planchet moves between strikes and the angle might misalign on one side. So if you flip your coin over, this should be exactly 180 degrees from this design right here, which this one is. This one is as well. So there's some errors that are known kind of for this 2000 Philadelphia Mint New Hampshire where that is not the case. The double struck quarter rotated during the second strike, so the design is shifted significantly on both the obverse and the reverse. In a Mint State 64, this has sold for $320. All right, and on to the final of the 5 quarters, the 2000 Virginia, the last quarter that was made as part of this series. Now there's a lot of known die errors associated with this. In particular, whenever you have a design that's kind of as detailed as what you see in front of you right here, that will likely happen. So what you want to look for is some cut errors right there on the flag, as well as in that 8. So look for any like extra material that accidentally kind of ended up in the center of those 8s at the top, as well as this one right here. So look out for those kind of 8s to see if there's any extra metal in there, as well as the top of these flags right here. That's where those errors exist. All right, everyone, that's all the info that I've got for you today. Hopefully you enjoyed this video on the 2000 error quarters to look for. Thank you very much, everyone, and best of luck coin collecting out there. Enjoy.